Live from a basement in Indianapolis, Indiana, about 7.5 miles from tonight, where the sixth game of the Indianapolis versus Oklahoma City Thunder game of the NBA Finals will go on. It may be true that the Pacers are down 3-2. It may be true that somehow they may lose tonight and not win the finals. But you know what? That's not the kind of attitude that people like you and I have. The fans have belief. The POS team has belief. The POS pros has belief that you can go out and transition your current merchants from terminals to full-blown POS. That you're not going to have Toast come in and steal one of your merchants who's been using a terminal for 12 years. You're not going to have Square be able to convince them to use their nice little shiny new things to come in. No, you believe that, and we believe that you can win, that you can take down the big competition that's out there because you are POS pros. You are PayProTec partners, and you believe, yes, sirs, I got to get it right. Yes, sirs, we believe, just like Mr. Matt Proctor, who is at an undisclosed location in another state, traveling through no electricity and no power, but making sure he brings the energy. Are you ready to help our partners know how they're going to move their current merchants from terminals to POS and how the Pacers are
Hell,
going to win Game 6?
absolutely. Gosh, it's hard to keep up with your energy, but I absolutely love it, Nate. Love it. And yes, we're very, very, very excited for tonight's game. Even though I believe we should be up 3-2, that's okay. That's it is what it is. That's over. And now, like you said, Nate, all we can do is be positive. Be positive in the things we do, the positive and being the Indiana Pacers, and then we're gonna have a great game 6 night, force a game 7, and more importantly, be positive with our partners, with our merchants. Yes, I'm at a location right now where this is will be a new merchant, and these 15 locations are going to be coming on board. And that's where I'm showing you as PPT Nation my dedication. Where if I need to be here on site, then I can get out of my house and get out of my office and get here to support our partners and get a deal closed. So yes, Nate, I'm pumped, man. Now let's talk about all these great ways to increase our ROI, our return on investment, and keep our merchants with us longer by upgrading them to a full point of sale system. I'm excited for today.
All right, so I'm going to leave you on the screen because I want to read what's in the background. A good coach can change a game. A great coach, like Rick Carlisle, can change a life. But a great partner, they can change the game. They can help. But a great partner helps a merchant absolutely change their life. And that sometimes means moving from they've been using this VX520. It's got dust. It's got grease in places we don't want to mention. It's got things going on, and it's time to make a change, and they want to start doing something than using technology. So we're going to talk about all those, but let's talk about, I'm going to ask this question first. What is the most common types of businesses? I'm not going to make you because we didn't do the stats, but what are the most common types of businesses that are current merchants with our partners that move to a POS from a terminal? So, because we do all day where we're switching to POS and we're replacing Toast, but specifically we're talking moving from terminal to a full POS. What's the most common type of merchants that are making that transition?
I think there's two, Nate. Retail being the first because it's so much easier for a retail merchant that's just starting up to have either that old school register, or just a little A920, a Desk 3500, whatever it might be, just to type in here, you owe me $30, okay? And then they start to realize later on, well, I should probably be tracking my actual inventory. It's knowing what I'm ordering and not. So that's the first. I'd say that's very common. Is that small, and it could be anything from a comic book shop to a little boutique, to full clothing, to a little sides, a souvenir shop, like where I was just on vacation. Nothing but little beautiful souvenirs with handmade gifts everywhere. Okay, a lot of them using a standalone terminal. The second is in the quick service food, okay? Because a lot of them, they don't want the stress. They don't want the stress of training a staff and going into a full point of sale. Okay? They know they can handwrite a ticket, just hand it to the kitchen. That's easy. Okay, handwrite it, hand to the kitchen. Oh, yep, that's going to be $24.50. They're typing it into a little terminal. Okay, so it's kind of two ways with the restaurant people. Some of them it's because they don't want to show everything they're ringing up, which is not what we encourage and not what we want them to do. Um, but more importantly, it's saving money. It's pinches. I mean, pinch and pennies. When it comes to the restaurant industry, every single penny counts. And so that's how we have to train them, teach them how this is going to save them time and money and waste and spoilage and everything else is going to save them a whole lot more than what an upfront cost would be. So those are the two, Nate. I'd say QSR, quick service restaurant, small boutique, retail, right for the picking. Oh, you're muted, buddy.
Yeah, I had a cough because spit in my voice a little bit. So, my next question, because I want to stay focused on, obviously, we transition a lot of new merchants from a terminal to it, but these are our current merchants. So if you are going to reach out to your current merchants that are the most likely, so our retail and our QSRs, our quick service restaurants, if you're going to be reaching out to them and making sure that someone else isn't poaching them, someone else isn't getting them to do it, make sure that they know that you offer POS. What are the things you would be doing to keep a regular cadence to interact with merchants that are at the high probability that they're going to make a change at some time in the next 2 years? What are the things that you would be doing to make you're keeping in contact, making sure they're ready and they think of you first?
Well, that's a great question. That's what separates what you just mentioned right behind me this way between a good and a great partner. Okay? A good partner, they very easily could switch from you because they don't know you. And this is my opinion. A great partner, their merchants wouldn't think about switching without at least talking to them first. And the way that you can be a great partner is frequenting them. All right. Even if you're not going to buy something, okay, take your kids in there. When they know, if you have children and they know, oh, now Matt's a family guy. He's got this cute little girl. His boys are getting older. Nate, you and I are both great with that. Always taking the kids with us. Having those interactions with them so that they know your person. And guess what? While I'm going there and I'm chatting with them, that I'm letting them know, hey, I've got a couple new point of sale systems. Would you like to look at one? Or, hey, we've got a promotion right now. I don't know if we talked about point of sale, but is that okay if we get my team involved and look at something? Because we do run promotions all the time. Okay. Or Mr. Merchant, you're already doing dual pricing. Okay. You're saving this money. Based on your volume, I can probably take care of you on a point of sale system for next to nothing if you'd like to look at. So those little selling points right there, where you want to make sure that you're that great partner. And I can thankfully say, Nate, that at this point, I still have merchants that I signed up when I was an agent, 10 years ago, where I still will talk to them. And I can't even go out and see them anymore. But it's because we connected so much on a personal level. We told stories. I would frequent their establishment, and that's what keeps them with you. So just a couple hints there, I think would be good.
Yeah, and I think, and if you're not able, let's say they're long distance, phone
Mm-hmm.
calls, emails, text messages, things that, just any type of contact. Obviously, the best type of contact is in person and is more
Right.
personal, but any type of contact helps them keep in. I always say what people always ask, what would you do if you're going to start sending emails? I said, start a monthly newsletter to your current merchants so you keep top of the mind of what's going on and make sure they know you care. And it's a one-to-many contact, but it gets you in their mind and will remember that, oh, when someone comes in, because here's what's happening, especially as QSRs or even full service restaurants,
Mm-hmm.
a Toast rep is coming in. Square right now is got more sales reps and more ads out in there. They are sponsoring more podcasts. They are investing hundreds of millions of dollars trying to steal your merchants. It's time to go on the defense and make sure you're being proactive. Now, Matt, we need to talk about this because we are specifically talking about merchants that you already have. So this is a different game because a lot of times we say, hey, you go to poslead.com, you put the lead in, we'll call you, you'll talk, and you're selling them to the first time. When they're already their merchant, what are the things that are different because they're already your merchant and they're already processing with PayProTec? What are some of the things that are different when working with the POS Pros team versus when you're doing all new customers?
Yeah. We absolutely love when they're already a merchant, whether they just signed up 4 days ago or they signed up 4 years ago, um, because obviously you already have that connection, but they're already part of our family. Okay, they're already part of our PayProTech family, so we could talk openly with them about how comfortable this process is. And when you tell them you don't have to change your credit card, your merchant account that you're processing, you can almost see this sigh of relief on a demo on their face. They're just like, oh, thank you, because I don't want to have to go and get a whole new merchant account and blah blah blah. I want it to be seamless and through you guys. And so just from the very first 5 minutes of that demo, we are setting the tone and that comfort level of we work directly with your agent. They're part of our family. We're all part of the same family. Now let's upgrade your hardware. Think of it like that, Mr. and Mrs. Merchant. We're just upgrading your hardware into a better software, better features, better, actually physical hardware, all through the same account. So if anything, Nate, I mean, our close rate on existing merchants upgrading, it's almost 100%. No matter what, they want something. It's just, let's set them up with the right software. Let's help them with the cost. Okay. Sometimes it's retention. I handle those personally. Sometimes they're not happy with something. Maybe it's not the agent's fault, not our fault. Maybe they were holding their funds, whatever. So it goes straight to retention. Like, we need to make this right and get them on board and put them at point of sale. And then I'm definitely going to help with that hardware to make sure we keep them on board with you. So we'll help you big time on that aspect as well. So yeah, I love it, Nate. We get excited when we see a lead come through and it has an MID. Like, oh, perfect. Let's help out our teammates.
So what are some of the questions? Obviously, we've teed up how they should ask questions of new merchants and what things they're asking for. What are the pain points of your POS? When they're moving to a new POS, they may not know, or from a terminal to a POS, they don't have pain points of an old POS. We're not correcting something. We're not fixing something. What are some of those unique questions that may happen because they're moving to a POS for the first time, or even things that you should tell them before they go into the meeting with the POS pros and doing demos and things like that would make it a smoother process? Are there some tips that we can give there?
Yeah, that's a great question, because the discovery questions are very different when they don't have a point of sale. Okay, and they don't know what they want and don't want. So my team has to be very specific on what we ask, and a lot of times it's finding out stuff that they never thought about, but we're kind of opening their mind to it. Like, hey, would you like to have a loyalty program where you actually have all your customers and information, where that way you can maybe give the loyalty points for certain things. All right. So you want to kind of make a checklist in your head of things they want. Okay. Would you like to be able to log in from the back office instead of having to go to the register, to be able to add in new buttons, add in, employees? And they're like, yeah, that'd be great. Would you like to do e-commerce? I'm sorry, if phone's ringing. Would you like to do online ordering, things like that? So you're really kind of making your own checklist, and then when you're connecting with my office and the POS team, now we already have that. Like, okay, here you go, Alex, Caitlin, Carrie, whoever it is. Here's what they told me. Okay, or maybe you only found out one thing. That's okay. We're going to do those questions with you. Okay, and once we find out that checklist, maybe stuff that they didn't think of before, we now know which direction to go. Okay, if it's retail, we're going Corona, Paradise, Retail Cloud. If it's restaurant, Quick, Mint, hot sauce. So, yeah, it's really kind of more fun, in my opinion, Nate, when it's their first POS. Another thing I want everyone to keep in mind: when it's their very first point of sale, they do need a little more hand holding. We want to make sure we set them up for success. So we're going to stick them with one of our systems that we know has some of the best support possible. Okay, because this is their first experience. Okay, the cherry's getting popped at POS. We don't want them to hate it, okay, and hate us. And you guys all know what I'm talking about. Every point of sale system has different levels of service. We want to make sure, no matter what, we are setting them up for success, and preferably an easy to use point of sale. Okay, so we want to make sure we're getting them set up with the right software.
Like it.
And
All
Nate,
right.
I forget if you were even asking about restaurant or retail. I just kind of
Yeah.
lumped them both together.
Well, we're going to jump right in there because Hallie B, or excuse me, Halil B, got to read that correctly. It's very small, my screen over here, is asking, what are the easiest POS systems? I mean, and we don't want to throw it because and I'm going to bring that right up here because they follow up. Every POS is a pain in the ass from networking to support. None are perfect. They always complain. And that is 100% true. There is no perfect POS. No
We
matter
know,
what,
we know.
everybody there's pain points. There's always, there's no perfect system ever. There's always going to be things. It's how you deal with it, how you preempt it, how you respond to it, and putting it in. But what are some, like, let's take one retail, and all of our POS doesn't be it, but one retail POS and one hospitality restaurant POS that you would say, man, these have a little bit less, they're a little easier for first time users.
Yeah, absolutely, and support as well.
Yeah.
So retail, very simple. It's a no brainer. Corona POS has had our best support, hands down. I think we've had one cancellation that lasts like a year and a half because of their implementation support. So for us guys, the actual implementation, that first 30 to 45 days is critical. That's when they have the most problems. That's when they're frustrated because they can't upload their inventory or they don't understand it. So we need to do more training with them. Once they're up and going and their hand is being held by the support team of that point of sale, we'll never hear from them again. All the complaints are in that first 30 to 45 days. And that's where we have an amazing implementation team at Corona that schedules out so many meetings with them. We get them on the phone right away. They're always there to schedule more extensive things with them. If there's a little issue, they're on the ball immediately. If I need to get involved, I'll get the owner of the company and people involved, which it's rare that I ever have to get involved. Okay. And it's easy to use on the interface. Okay. Years ago, we said Paradise, and Paradise is easy as well. It's an iPad system, so yes, that's easy as well. But hands down, our number one retail software right now, because of support and pricing, would be Corona with the K, Korona. Now, in the hospitality, this has gone like this throughout the years. It's like a freaking ocean. We've worked with so many hospitality POSs. Unfortunately, some of them go up and down with service, depending on they lose people, they're hiring new people, things like that. The most consistent and our number one selling restaurant software is Quick POS. They have the most support people. They have the best implementation people where they know from the very beginning, okay, I'm talking to Tyler. Tyler's going to walk me through all this. Michelle's also going to help me with training. Then I'm going to schedule with Tyler and Michelle for implementation, for install. I'm going to do my review with them. So they have their own point people with Quick. Quick also gives them, yes, KWICK. Quick also puts them on their own personal Telegram chat with the Quick support team and their agent. So you're on there as well. And that's been pivotal that they do that. So they're texting console with the Quick support. They need to get someone to help. So, Halil, good question. Hot Sauce, yes, has greatly increased their support. They're one of our POS partners that's gone up and down throughout the years. But Hot Sauce has done a great job of their implementation. We do a lot of bilingual accounts with Hot Sauce, and they also have phenomenal Spanish support.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and I would
they're
say
right there. But if I had to choose one, sorry, Nate, if I had to choose one, Quick and Corona, double Ks.
Well, and what we would say, we don't work with a POS that we think it's going to fail out of the fit. We're just talking about making, and we've kicked multiple POS to the curb. Now, and as it was commented earlier, none of them are perfect, but we're also looking when people are in businesses and they've been in business a while and we're asking them to make a major change versus they've been using a POS, they've been doing their time and clock in, clock out. They've been running their inventory. They've been doing everything through a system, and we're just changing the system they're using to do it. That's a different change than we're asking them to take a whole, it's like swallowing a whale instead of eating a gut. It's a much bigger task when you're moving and they've been in business and you're asking them to change their systems and complicate their systems, and life will be better, but there is, a certain time of some birthing pains during that time. So I'm going to end my analogy on that. So let's talk a little bit about the logistics. There are times, obviously when we already have the processing, and both of us are already making money on those accounts. Obviously for PayProTec to invest into that and spend more money and say, hey, it needs to make financial sense. How does that change from a new merchant? Because we always say, hey, every $20,000 of volume, you're going to get a placement credit. You have to be on an edge pricing. Our team walks you through that. How does that change in any way when you're working with a merchant that's already been processing and potentially maybe already been edge processing? And even talk about what the change if they switch to edge processing, what that gives us the opportunity to do. So,
Yeah, and to be honest, we still keep that same pricing structure in place because we think of it like this. If we're now upgrading to a point of sale, that means we're keeping them on board. They could have easily gone with Clover or Toast or something else. We're the ones that they said we want to stay with you. So we want to reward them for staying with us. So now we can see all their processing of money. So let's say they are doing cash discount and they're doing 45 grand. We can see it right there. We'll give them that $3,000, towards some hardware. Like, hey, you stay with us, we get you upgraded to a point of sale system. We're going to take care of the majority of this, this upfront cost. So for us, it's a much bigger incentive because now we know that's going to push them out, and now it's another 3 years. So now they're signing this contract for 2-3 years where we are definitely new. We know the numbers, it's tangible. We know exactly what we're going to make, and hopefully they're going to keep growing because the point of sale is going to help them grow their business. So yes, that's much I'd say an easier selling point, easier transition if we have the processing. If we don't have the processing, then it's our standard. Let's see how we can help you. It's the easiest way ever to get a statement is when we're doing a point of sale demo and they like it and they're like, this is awesome. This looks great. I mean, I flat out just asked for it on a demo. I said, well, do me a favor, get a recent processing statement over to X, Y, and Z, whoever the agent, is there. Sometimes I'll say, what is your volume? Yeah, because I want to hear it straight from the owner's mouth. You tell me, because the owner's not going to just lie to me and say some crazy number. He doesn't know exactly why I want the number. And then once I found the number, I say, great, we're going to do our best to run the numbers for you and get you the best possible price so that we're taking care of you. All right. And so that's a great way to discuss that as well. They're always going to ask you for price. Okay? We don't give them the price on the demo. We'll work with you on that price because we want to help them. So yeah,
yeah.
$1,500, guys, every 20 grand. Okay, now we do have a cap on that, 5 credits, but just come to me directly. I'll do any approvals above and beyond that for large purchases.
Yep.
But those take a little time. And Nate, I do want to say this. I want to make sure everyone understands that we want you to have some patience because switching from a regular terminal to a point of sale takes a little time. It will take, if we do it the right way, 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the software. So if you can, if they want to switch to you right away, get them a terminal right away. If they're already using your terminal, perfect. Let them keep using your terminal. All right. And just let them know, let's follow the correct protocol. Yep. So I just want to mention that, Nate, because, especially to our partners that are so used to terminal only, we got to make sure they got that expectation.
Totally. And my next question kind of ties into that because we want to prevent that buyer's remorse. You talked about how important that first 45 days is, and specifically in companies where they have not been tracking their inventory or they've been not doing their clock in and clock out. And you're adding new wrinkles. They're going to have some buyer's remorse. They're going to have that, oh, maybe I just want to go back, and they're going to want to go back. What are things they can do both preemptively and in response to, man, I just want to go back to that terminal over there and just give up all this, to be able to get them and help them fight through that, oh crap, this is way too much. It's more than I bargained for moment that a lot of these companies are going to have because it is more work. Life is easier on the other side, but you got to get up over the mountain.
I can tell you right now, 95% when that happens, Nate, like clockwork, that has happened plenty of times. It's because they didn't do enough training. They don't understand the software. These aren't hard systems. And so that means that they either didn't pay attention or they just had their staff on the training and they weren't actually paying attention at all. So then they get frustrated because they're like, I don't know where this is. I don't know how to do this. So we need to know that right away. We want to find out right away so that our office can intervene and we can schedule something right away and reach out to our point of sale partner and say, you need to schedule more training with them right now, because the moment they get it, it's kind of a light bulb goes off and they get it, they never call again, right? They understand. But if they don't do trainings, then they tend to get very frustrated. They're getting this point of sale out of the box and they just want to ring it like their register, and they're not understanding how to add customers and how to add discounts. And And so, yes, 95% of the time, it's lack of training that they did not go through. Sometimes they only want their manager to train. And it's like, well, that's great, but what happens if your manager goes out of town for 2 weeks? Like, you don't know how to run your own system. You gotta learn as well. So it can be easily overcome, guys, but we have to know right away.
Well, it's always training is important if you're a partner and making sure you're staying update and what we talk about in our office hours and our noon show every Thursday and making sure you're up to date on what's going on. And it's just as important for your merchants. And it's specifically important when they're launching from no very limited technology to full
Jeez,
blown
yeah.
top technology. Because our POS systems can run their whole business, but that is a lot of work and a lot of challenges and a lot of fail points. But if you fight through, life looks really good 3 months down the road. And you just got to get that and help them and setting those expectations and then making sure you're constantly in contact. Our POS Pros team will be doing it. You're doing it. The the company that is working with you will be doing it. And together it takes a village and we're going to help them do it. And then we're going to have a happy customer for years and years, which means residuals and residuals and residuals and residuals. And that is why we're in this game. And that is why we do the work. Matt, what haven't I asked about switching a current merchant from a terminal to a POS? What are things that
Well,
I
I
haven't
want to
asked
kind of
about?
piggyback off of what you just said, Nate. So, the more our partners can learn about this software, if you're there and you could be there for a training, you could pay attention, the greater of a partner you're going to be because now you're an extra level of support. Now you don't want to be their overnight weekend supporter. Right? You still tell them, here's your person with Quick or whatever, reach out to them. But some of our most successful partners, one of our larger PPT offices, they install every single one and they help with the programming. Now, I'm not saying partners have to go that far, but this particular agent with that group just happens to have installed so many Quick POS. He knows it. He knows it inside and out. So he can go in and say, oh, yeah, here, let me show you. Let's add this button. Hey, I'm going to show you how to do a special for this day. And yes, he still has the support of the full Quick team. They're there for him to help with anything. But he's just sold that many that he's gotten that comfortable. So that'll really help you guys when you see a system like hot sauce and you see, let's say, Alex do a demo, okay? And you realize, wow, this is pretty easy. Alex just showed me how to add a button. He just showed me how to, 86 an item. So that way, when you go on site with them, play with it. The more comfortable you are with the point of sale, the more comfortable your merchant's going to be. Okay? You're not just sitting there like, duh, like, I don't know what this thing does. Pay attention. Okay? You don't have to be an expert, but if you know a little, it's going to put their mind at ease. That's what I would say, Nate. Just the more you guys can be on these demos and see how it works, the more it's going to help you grow your business.
Totally agree. I also totally agree with Andrew Lacka. There in the northern parts of Minnesota, we are looking good, boys. Over in Ohio, in an undisclosed location, setting up 15 locations. And I am to disclose, they're setting it up because I was thinking of this. I want to highlight this.
Mhm.
This particular one, they're looking at Retail Cloud, and Retail Cloud is running the NBA Finals tonight, running the whole system. You can walk in and buy all your concessions through Retail Cloud. You can do the pay as you go, walk in,
The
walk out,
RFID technology. Yeah, the
with
radio
running,
frequency technology is
yeah,
crazy.
running the kiosk, all running through Retail Cloud and all their serve technology and all that. And I am always proud that when my kids who got to go to the finals, and that's why I have this very special Yes Sirs NBA Finals towel. When they go and buy the concessions, they're doing it through Retail Cloud. That's the kind of stuff I also like to highlight when you're talking. Hey, sometimes when you have a big business, we can do hundreds of locations through Retail Cloud and other systems to do it, but we've got it all. So not only can we switch you from a single location from a terminal to a POS, we can do it all. It's pretty cool. I like that.
It
So,
is pretty cool. And yes, I'm not going to talk or give any information about exactly where I am. Oh, happy belated birthday, Jim. I forgot to text Jim Mannon on his birthday
uh,
Monday. Um,
I, happy birthday, Jim. I didn't know it was your birthday, so I'm sorry.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
forget. I just didn't know. So now I get to say it. Happy birthday, Jim, man. And hope that life is good down there in South Carolina.
Oh,
So,
so one thing, Nate, and I don't think I've had a chance to talk to you about this. Retail Cloud and what Kevin's going to do is we are going to custom. There's a lot of things that we're going to customize for these large opportunities that we have that I can't say yet, but It's going to take some work. And to know that we have software that can be that complex, that can say, okay, we need every little thing that you want and that you've been piecing together with all these different softwares, and we're going to just build that out for you. So we're your one solution for every location, for every region, whatever it might be. So that's exciting for me. I talked for Kevin for an hour on the drive over here, and I knew today I'd find out a lot more information. I'll be talking to him an hour, driving back, because it's nice that we have softwares, guys, that can do some custom things. Now they're not all going to do that, and there has to be the need, the request. Okay, but Retail Cloud is one of those. It's phenomenal. Just like Quick, our number one restaurant software, the need was there for a Davo integration. We had so many people ask for it. We had franchise restaurants at like 12 to 15 locations that we couldn't get them on board because they loved our software, but it didn't integrate the Davo. So Quick was like, done, Matt. I introduced him at NRA with Nate a year ago. It did take some time and several meetings with them, but now we've got several merchants using the Davo integration. They absolutely love it. It's still in beta, but we haven't heard any issues. So it's those type of things that keep us excited. And we're just going to keep doing it. Let's just keep getting some custom solutions.
Perfect. And I do see a question about merchant processing fees. I'm not exactly sure if you want to go deeper in that, or if you want to email me at nate@payprotec.com. I'll be glad to answer that. But where I think it says that with the merchant processing fees, I mean, most of our part merchants, about 80% plus, are being set up on our edge deals, our dual pricing deals. Yep. So the merchants aren't paying any of it. And and how do we prevent competition, I think is what Hallie is asking. Halil is asking, sorry, I keep misreading that. So small on my little screen over here. Let's talk about that a little, because I tease it, but I am very serious about Square is out there. SkyTab, obviously a Shift4 competitor. That's a competitor to what we're trying to do here at PayProTec. So we have the competitors like Square and Toast, where you guys as our independent sales offices can't sell. We have SkyTab, where some of you are allowed to sell, some are you selling it, some of you aren't. How do we compete in that competitive? It's a much longer question, so I'd encourage you to reach out to sales at POS sales at paymentshub.com, which is Matt's group text, or email Matt directly. Let's talk just briefly. How do you sell us against the competition, the Squares, the Toasts, the SkyTabs, especially when they're coming in because they're trying to switch our main conversations about switching our terminal-based merchants?
Yeah. And guys, we run into this literally daily. I'm looking at Toast contracts, I'm looking at SkyTab and Spot On and things like that. So this is nothing new in my office, and my team is competing daily with this. And really, it comes down to a couple variables. Processing is a huge part. Okay, either Toast does not do dual pricing the way it's supposed to be done, if they even do it. Most of the time, they're not on that. So we switch a lot of Toast people that say, I definitely want dual pricing. I want to save all this money. I need a software that can do X, Y, and Z, and order pay at the table and QR codes and everything I have with Toast, third-party delivery. Perfect, done. Quick does that. Okay, so we've been switching a lot of those with Quick. SkyTab is a thorn in our side because that stupid $5,000 that they're giving away. Okay, they can do that. They're that big, public. They spend millions of dollars to buy hardware for stadiums. They just can do that, which is frustrating. So that once again comes down to the savings that we're going to give them, and then it also comes down to the ongoing savings and the monthly licensing fees. Okay, how can we get those down? How can we bundle? That's why Quick put together special pricing just for us. Okay, just for my office and PPT Nation, where it is lower than anyone in the country that would go to Quick. And we started putting these small bundles together so that when I look at a Toast contract, I see that our upfront cost is a difference of maybe $50. Okay, it's almost the same. But then I look at the monthly, and this one I recently was looking at, we were $180 less monthly. So that right there, just over a course of a year, we're looking 16 to 17, whatever it came out to. That's worth more than them just buying a merchant, and that's kind of how it is. They're just buying a merchant, and if the merchant is that cheap that they don't care how good the software is, they'll let Shift4 jack their rates up every year. You might not want them. I'm just being honest. It might be some people might not want to hear that, but do you want a merchant that is just can easily be purchased without even knowing how good the software is, how the support is, which the support's horrible, as well as they're going to keep jacking up the rates. They're getting their five back. No matter what, they're
Yep.
getting that $5,000 back. And that's what I tell the merchant. Like they're getting it back. They might get it back within this year. So it's up to you if you want to take it. Or you can start saving all your processing money right away with a good system, better support, better agent, and your monthly is going to be lower.
Yeah. And obviously, Shift 4 only allows certain people to sell those deals in SkyTab. So obviously, if you're not one of the chosen people to do it, and we have verifiable evidence, so I don't mind saying this publicly, that their rates will increase. You don't have control as the partner. You're making lesser splits than you think you are. We've proven that time after time. And ultimately, all of us have to be profitable at the end. And what they're doing on the upfront is not profitable. So they're going to make their money on the second and third years, and they're going to take it both from the merchant and from the sales agent that they're working with. And we have proof that that happens. Is it an easy sale to say, hey, here's free equipment, here's $45 per station, and plus we're going to give you $5,000 when you go up and running? Great sale, but it's not good for
It's
you,
not
and
a
it's not good for the
sale. You're just
merchant.
giving crap away. You're
Yeah.
not even selling it.
Yeah. So obviously we compete against it. So you caught us that we talk about all the time. I was talking to a partner yesterday that's starting to put more business with us. They have that deal. They can do it SkyTab, and they're choosing not to do it because they are now a couple of years into it, and they're seeing some of their merchants having higher prices. Their merchants are complaining. Their things are happening. They are not making as much residual as they could have been. And was it an easier sale? Or as Matt said, it wasn't a sale. Was it an easy giveaway right up at the front? Yes, it was. But 2 years down the road, you're already 25, 30% behind in what you would have made. And it just keeps compounding. And those are decisions you have to make, and be upfront with your merchants, because you're going to have some unhappy merchants eventually, especially when they need to raise those prices, because they've got to make money too. Because when they give $5,000 away, they've got to make that $5,000 up. And if they're only making $45 a month on their service fee, that's one phone call to their service department to be able to make that. So they're making it up somewhere. So just be, and that's what we try to be transparent. Our PO Quick needs to make money. SkyTab needs to make money. PayProTec needs to make money. Hot Sauce, Retail Cloud. We all need to be we want to be in the green. We have to. And a lot of this, it's a different model. And but they will get to the green eventually, and you're going to be the reason they do it. So that's what the answer on there. We'd love to talk to you more on that. Matt, closing words from your mysterious location on the other side of the border after a storm. I'm glad you have your power back. We didn't mention that earlier. But
yes,
storm came through Indianapolis. Yay. So we had some fun yesterday here in Indianapolis. But we're glad. It was amazing. Storms came through. We had lightning, we had wind, we had rain, no thunder. Amazing. That didn't even happen. So who knows? Nice. Crazy music going on here. But Mr. Proctor, closing words for us as we close out this episode of POS Uncensored.
Yes. So guys, I want you to keep in mind back to the most recent thing we're talking about, and the thick, heavy competition that's out there. You'll never hear, just because I disagree with someone's business model doesn't make it a bad point of sale. Okay, that doesn't mean the SkyTab doesn't function just fine. We all know Toast software works great for restaurants. They're all good in their own way. Okay, it's just a matter of us being transparent with the merchant, like Nate said, and letting them know, here's how they run their model compared to here's how we run ours. We want to put all that money back into you, lock it in with you, where it's not going to change, okay, or go up. And you're going to get that great support of not only myself and all of our partners, but that point of sale system. Okay, so keep that in mind, especially if you're finding out more about competition. Okay, I'm always looking at our competition. I also have an advantage because I get 50 POSs pitched to me every 3 months, it seems like. But if you have questions, reach out to me directly. If you want to know more about it, if you're like, hey, I'm in Charlotte, man, this just happened to me last week. Union POS is taken over everywhere. Every bar is Union POS. Okay, awesome. Like I know those guys. I've met Union several times. We're working on different partnerships. Yeah. So just keep that in mind as you guys are learning more about point of sale, and you're seeing what's out there, that they are all good. It's a matter of making sure we're not bashing them. We're getting them into a better solution. There's nothing worse than you can do is go out there and just be bashing other systems. Okay. So that's it for me, Nate. That's it.
That's it. And that's it for another episode of POS Uncensored, where every week we bring you information about how you can grow your point of sale portfolio, how you, as paymentpreneurs across the United States, can help more and more merchants moving from terminals to POS, switching from old POS to new POS, getting them from the grips of the sharks like Toast and Square and moving them to your portfolio. That's what we talk every week here on POS Uncensored. We'll be back next week, then we'll have a week off. Well, we'll keep you up to date, but we have lots more fun coming up soon on POS Uncensored, so you can watch it anytime right here on our YouTube channel. We're around 1:30 every Thursday. If we announce it, we'll tell you a change. And plus, you can watch it on YouTube
Yep.
anytime. Most of you watch it afterwards. So thanks for watching all the way to the end. We're very thankful for that. And we'll see you next time on POS Uncensored. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.